Hello YouTube, this is Falcon Paladin coming to you with yet another Starcraft 2 upload. This is a little bit of a bonus. This is a 3 versus 3 game that I played yesterday on the ladder to get myself placed in the 3v3 ladder. Now again, this is just against random players. My teammates are random. I haven't met any of these guys before. But in a 3v3 game it's the same as 1v1. Whichever team loses all their buildings first loses the game. And it can be a little interesting in this 3v3 matchup just because you can combine units that you normally don't see. You can see UltraLisks tanking for Stalkers, you can see Swarm Hosts covering for Void Rays, and it is kind of fun that way. So, we hop on into this game, and I am the purple Zerg here. One of my friends is the yellow Zerg. And the orange Protoss. Our enemies are the red Terran, blue Zerg, and blue Terran. So, no Protoss on their side, no Terran on our side, which can make things a little interesting that way. We're going to speed the game up just because in these early stages of 3v3, either it's a quick rush or nothing happens as everybody macros up and gets their economy going. And this is one of those games. I don't expect any early attacking, which is good because without the coordination of actually knowing your team, it can be difficult to defend against a rush from 3 players working together. So I am getting my spawning pool up and my Vespene geyser to get some of that gas. Now what I like to do in 3v3 games is if I'm given the time, I make a lot of speedlings to run around and try to snipe expos or expansions that other players try to use. They don't usually defend them very well, and so if you get speedlings in there, they can do a lot of destruction before the enemy responds. And in the meantime, I am getting upgrades for those Zerglings, their attack, their defense, and I am also getting to Ultralisks as fast as I can. So here we have a little bit of, if we slow the game down, some Reaper pressure from one of the Terrans on the other team. Reapers are good harassment units because they are quick, as you see them running away from the probe and the Zerglings here. They do pretty good damage against light units, which Zerglings and workers are. And they have this little ability where out of combat they have combat drugs, which regenerates life quickly. So if they're being attacked, they don't regenerate life, but if they can get out of combat and away from problems for a little bit, they will go back to full health, making them a little bit more viable over the long term. Now, slow Zerglings will never catch Reapers, and unfortunately, a lot of them are dying. Oh, one did get stuck here at the bottom of this cliff, and so they did get a Reaper, contrary to what I said. But a Reaper who is well controlled by a Terran player, you usually won't see them die unless there are speedlings with that speed upgrade or something with range like a Roach, or a Queen, or a Stalker, or Marine, things like that. So again, this Terran player doing pretty well. There are 3 kills on this Reaper. Gonna try to get another kill. There it is, up to 4, and these slowlings are still coming in. I remember looking at my yellow friend here and checking to see if the spawning pool was doing the upgrade for speed, and I am sad to see that it was not. So we are stuck on slow speedlings for a little bit. My Queen comes over, gets a shot off, is able to bring this Reaper down, and it does get taken out by the mothership core from the Protoss. So that harassment's over. The Protoss does not have many workers left, which is a concern. Oh, never mind, he just moved into this gold expansion. Now gold expansions are nice because you get extra minerals per trip per probe. So it increases your income quite quickly. On the other team, the Zerg took advantage of the gold expansion, which can be nice for Zerg. And I am teching up. I am building my lair. I'm getting an evolution chamber for those upgrades that I talked about. And we'll just speed forward a little bit here because I don't think much happens for a while. I do have 2 bases. Fairly saturated is what it's called when you have, anywhere from 13 to 17 workers on mineral patches. It's an effective use of the money. You're not wasting anything or over harvesting, where if you have too many workers, then certain drones will just sit and wait and wait and wait for their turn, and eventually they do get their turn, but it's not an effective use of your workers. So I make a 3rd hatchery here to go with my other 2. Back at home, my lair is complete. I am working on both the melee attack upgrade and the ground carapace evolution upgrade, which will work for my Zerglings and for my eventual Ultralisks. Now, to make the Ultralisks, I do require this to be upgraded to a hive, so from lair to hive, and I need an infestation pit in order to do that. So we'll see how quickly I recognize that I need to get that infestation pit up quickly. In the meantime, we do see some speedlings from the blue enemy Zerg running around, checking out these watchtowers. These Zelnaga watchtowers give you increased sight of the area around them as long as you have a unit sitting next to it. Blue Zerg, just as a quick check, it is able to see these expansions to make sure that we're not trying to sneak anything nearby to them. It is usually what you'll see as expansions close to home, but again, proxy hatches, proxy gateways, proxy nexus, things like that can be pretty difficult to deal with. So another poke, and the blue Zerg doesn't see anything to be worried about. So we're going to speed up a little bit here again as the blue Zerg comes out to take an expansion, which is a little bit on our side of the map, so it's a little risky, as if any of us come over to scout it, it'll be pretty easy to kill because it's so far from home. Any reinforcing units are going to have to come around this corner, up this way, up that way, and defend. So I have some workers out, and the blue Zerglings are doing some harassment at my base. I don't have anything at this point, so I use my workers to turn around and kill these speedlings, which is something the Protoss should have done in the last game that I casted. Oh, yellow looks like finally did pick up the speed boost, is here to help out, but it's not very necessary at this point. Back home, I did make the infestation pit, and I did upgrade the lair, working on getting that to a hive. Yep. So, and I am doing my melee attack level 2, my carapace level 2. Orange Protoss is trying to sneak an expansion down here, again, kind of on their side of the map. We'll see if that pays off. The blue base is up and running for the Zerg, so we'll see if either of the teams can notice what's going on their side of things. We have an orange probe sitting over here for no reason, not helping, not mining, not attacking, not defending, which is kind of a waste. And there actually is a button that shows you idle probes, idle workers, that can tell you if someone is just sitting around not doing anything, so you can get them back on the minerals, back on the gas, getting you that income that is so important. So my hive is finished. I am making an Ultralisk cavern now. I'm building lots of overlords, which increases my supply, which is, you need a lot of supply for Ultralisks. They take up 8 supply per Ultra. Meanwhile, looks like we have some Void Rays from Orange. We have an attack over here. The Red Terran found this base that Orange was trying to establish, but they were able to get some Void Rays over there. There were some yellow Mutalisks over here to help. And the Mutalisks take out a siege tank, which was pretty much constantly attacking that pylon, it looks like. In the meantime, I'm sending over my Zerglings to take out this base here, killing a lot of workers before any response can be mounted. They might be distracted by these Mutalisks that are flying in, so that's a pretty good tactic, is where one teammate attacks in one area, and then their teammate will attack in another area. And so the enemy is distracted, and you can basically do some things like this, like take out an entire base all by yourself before anybody shows up. So I am working down that hatchery. Looks like I'm going to get it. The Mutalisks are coming here, trying to kill missile turrets, trying to kill Marines. There's another turret there. There are enough Mutalisks here to do a lot of damage. Going to go in there, try to kill those tanks. The tanks are powerful against ground units, but they are not so good against air units because they can't shoot up. So another missile turret attacking the Mutalisks here. There are enough Mutalisks to do the damage and take them out. In the meantime, looks like blue Zerg on the enemy is making swarm hosts and sending them up to attack our base. My first Ultralisks are popping out at the 14-minute mark, which is pretty good. I'm happy about that, having not really used this strategy in a long time. There you see the swarm hosts timed out as the next group comes in. Now I can see this is coming because they're coming onto my creep, which gives me vision. And for some reason, really wants to kill this base, but by the time they get here, oh, they are able to kill my queen, but they can't do much else before they die. So I have overseers, which allow me to see the burrowed swarm hosts, and I'm thinking, alright, these Ultralisks can take these swarm hosts, but it turns out they can't. There are a lot of them. A lot of the swarm hosts, they do a lot of damage, and I'm starting to get annoyed with them just like Protoss players do when they play against Zerg. So I'm doing a lot of damage to these swarm hosts, but again, they're free units, and so these locusts can, even if they die, it's not a big deal as long as they take some ultralisks with them. And these are definitely paying for themselves. In the meantime, it looks like we are establishing a planetary fortress at this base, which does a lot of damage using the Ibks cannon. I did not know what that was called. It does 40 damage to ground units, and I believe it does splash damage as well. I'm not entirely sure, but it can be useful against ground attacks. These Hydralisks are doing a good job against the Mutalisks. Hydras attack air and ground and have pretty good damage per second. These Locusts are coming through, killing all my Zerglings, trying to kill my Extractors, trying to kill my Workers, and are being super annoying. Thankfully, Yellow comes down with his Mutalisks, kills the hatchery that is trying to take advantage of this gold expansion, and forces the retreat of the swarm hosts. So, again, I was ragging on Yellow for not getting speed for so long, but these Mutalisks have been really handy in this game, and I appreciate the work that they've done. My 3 bases are up. I have 99 supply out of 200, and some money in the bank. I'm really spending it on Ultralisks as quickly as I can. You'll notice that they are fully upgraded, 3 attack and 5 armor. Ultralisks have a special upgrade that gives them a total of 5 armor, just up from the basic 3 that you can normally get for other units. So that helps them be a little more tanky, they can take more damage. Yellow comes in and actually manages to get in behind the Terran's base and kill his main orbital command, so that's really good. We are responding with Zerglings from the other team for some reason. They can't attack air, so I don't know why they're doing that. Ooh, comes in to where there are a lot of spore crawlers, which are good anti-air attacks. And yep, every single Mutalisk dies. That was just too many spore crawlers. They do 45 damage versus biological units, which Mutalisks are. They are biological. In the meantime, I am coming down with my Ultralisks, and I believe my eventual target is supposed to... Where am I sending these? I don't know, but they're basically just going into their devs for some reason. Ultralisks comes into where a base was, but nothing much to see there. And we have a Corruptor, Swarm Host, Thor, Medic, SCV, Zergling army, which again is something you only see in team games. This is a little excursionary force from Terran coming up, maybe to see what damage they can do. Maybe they want to be picked up by a medvac and do what's called a drop. In the meantime, my Ultralisks are doing a good job. 14 kills, 15, 16, 18, 20, 22 kills on that Ultralisk before he dies. He killed all the workers in this base. Did pretty good work, I think. And more Zerglings are being made by me. More Ultralisks are being made by me. Looks like we're just building Void Rays from the Protoss. Void Rays are good. They can attack air and ground units with their prismatic beam. They have an ability called Prismatic Alignment that gives +6 damage versus armored units for 20 seconds. So they can be good against tanks, actually against these Thors, which are armored units. So an extra +6 damage on that prismatic beam is enough to take these out pretty quickly. And here's my army, my Ultralisk Zergling army, preparing to do some pressure down this right side, as I can see that they're all massed up in the middle here. I take a base over here at this expansion that Blue tried to sneak earlier but wasn't able to do so. Here come some workers up to the goal doing some what's called long distance mining. And here comes the main push up the middle. They're pretty coordinated, it looks like. They're bringing red, blue, I guess teal, and the blue Zerger coming all at the same time right up to this area, this choke point, to do as much damage as they can. So the swarm hosts bury themselves. I bring in my Ultralisks to try to take out these Thors and these Hydralisks and just really just be kind of a meat shield for everybody else. And they are actually doing some pretty good damage here. Able to get in, take out most of the Thors. That tank almost dies, but the Locusts are surviving. I wasn't able to take out any swarm hosts. And these Corruptors are alive as well. So here come the Void Rays. If our team had been had been coordinated at all, you would have brought these Void Rays down at the sign of first attack. But instead, they're kind of alone. I do have some supporting Ultralisks down below. Killing anything that can shoot up is what I'm trying to do. And they do die in a mess of acid thanks to these Locusts, which cannot shoot up, so they can't attack these Void Rays. Now, it does chase off the Swarm Host, because again, if there's nobody supporting them with anti-air, then they're going to run away. There are Broodlords from the yellow Zerg. Broodlords also shoot free units that are called Locusts, and the Locusts hit with an initial attack and also do just little bits of attack as long as they stay alive on the ground before they time out, just like Locusts do. Time out, time out. Usually you'll see groups of Broodlords, 10 to 12, but 3 can be fairly effective, I guess. In the meantime, I'm going to run down my Zerglings to take out this expansion that the red Terran is trying to take. I kill a lot of workers. I kill that missile turret, and I do burn down the command center itself before these Thors can respond. Zealots do okay against Thors for cost efficiency. If you have the same amount of Zerglings against the same amount of Thors when it comes to minerals, the Zerglings will do pretty well. But there were just 3 Thors against my 15 or so Zerglings. Wasn't a good match for me. I probably should have run away, but instead I chose to attack. Blue has a good base running here. Blue has another base here they did manage to establish, and it looks like I got my base up and running here as well. If we look at the active forces, red, dark blue, and light blue have 56, 92, 105 versus 128, 93, 140 for us. So we definitely have the advantage that way. We look at the income tab. Red has only 13 workers left, which really hurts. They definitely need to get more workers, or else they're going to be in trouble. Oh, that's the pause button. Get rid of that drop down. So each side, it looks like, is just kind of hanging out, pretty content to roam around with their Void Rays. I have a few Ultralisks left. I don't have much money in the bank, which is why I'm trying to get this expansion up as soon as I can. We do manage to kill this expansion from the opposing Zerg, which means he's not getting any income from that. I run in more Zerglings against more Thors, and again, they all die. It's maybe not the best use of my resources, unfortunately. The Void Rays are just kind of content to hang out. They don't want to go out and extend themselves too far. We do have more Mutalisks from yellow. We have more Broodlords from yellow, and that's the, nope, 3, so they have 6 now. My Ultralisks are ready to move along this left side and kill this gold expansion before it gets too up and running, because that could be enough to swing the game. In the meantime, there's a middle push from red and blue with those swarm hosts, and I'm pretty sure I do figure out, yep, I just take my Ultralisks and run away. I'm not interested in attacking those Locusts. We are going to let the Broodlords take care of that. And this Void Ray Ultralisk attack is going to be pretty devastating. The Thors can attack ground and air, but only one thing at a time, so they're not quite sure, do we attack the Void Rays, do we attack the Ultralisks? And they choose instead just to run away, as they are getting melted pretty quickly by these Void Rays using their prismatic alignment. They turn around and shoot, but I don't think it's enough. I don't remember how this battle ended up, but yep. Void Rays are able to take out every single Thor. I run down here with my Ultralisks and say if they're going to worry about attacking through the middle, I'm going to swing down across the bottom and kill as many of these expansions as I can. Now, this Zerg didn't have a single spine crawler, not a single spore crawler, nothing defending this, so I'm able to rip through it easily with my fully upgraded Ultralisks. I take out an Infestor that comes wandering along at the wrong time. Oop, and a poor Swarm Host running down here too gets taken out without even being able to burrow. Take out another expansion at the teal base. These Marines are coming in trying to see what they can do, but they're a little late to the party. And if they were on time to the party, they probably just would have died anyway, so that's fine. Ultralisks coming up here across the bottom. And in the meantime, these Locusts are doing quite a bit of damage up top. Where are they even coming from? They were probably killed by those Mutalisks. Oh no, they came back here to defend. They're doing a pretty good job, as the Ultralisks cannot see those Swarm Hosts because there is nothing friendly giving them vision of invisible units. And I'm trying to take out this planetary fortress down to 100 health, down to 80 health. But the workers from the SCVs are defending They are repairing this with all that they have, and they're able to save it before my Ultralisks can kill it off. Now, there aren't many workers left, but they're enough. And they're repairing this missile turret as well, which is killing all the Mutalisks. These swarm hosts are all still alive. If I had brought in some detection, they'd probably be dead by now, but you know how it is. I send in my Zerglings with support. No, still nothing detecting invisible units. This is embarrassing. But you'll notice that the blue Terran just left the game. He had nothing left, but it looks like a few Widow Mines. He did have a base running, so any resources coming up here will be split among his allies. More Widow Mines are coming. I still have this base up. This base looks like it's out of money, so this game went pretty long. You'll notice it's a long game if a lot of the bases are completely out of minerals, if they've just been completely mined out. We're swinging around with some random corruptors, which can only attack air units, doing some scouting. It looks like I have a single Ultralisk trying to kill these queens, which keep getting transfused. Queens have the ability to transfuse another biological unit for, I think it's restoring 125 health to the unit, which is pretty good. But my Ultralisk will have nothing of it, kills both of the queens, and then moves down here to just attack as many buildings. Probably unnecessary to attack that spore crawler, but you never know. Attacking the hatchery. Ooh, lots of hydras are being created here. The swarm hosts come in here as well. Everybody responding to take out this single Ultralisk. And he does die in an acid blaze of glory. Yellow has a hodgepodge group of a few Zerglings, some Mutalisks, some Corruptors, and some Broodlords. I have made another huge army of Zerglings. Looks like I have a lot of money that I could use to build Ultralisks right now. I don't know what I'm doing instead. None of my bases. Oh, there we go. I am making some Ultralisks here. Oh, all my money's gone. I made a whole ton of Ultralisks all at once, which is one of the benefits of the Zerg army, is they can make a whole bunch of units at a single time. The Zerglings come down, and we have an Overseer this time, so all these swarm hosts are in trouble. And the Hydralisks are being taken out by the Broodlords, which do really well against pretty much all ground units, as long as they're in the correct position to not get sniped by something from down below. And the other team leads the game. So, I would say my Zergling Ultralisk strategy worked pretty well here. It's pretty fun to do. It backfires if the other team does a coordinated attack very early, because I don't have much to defend except for Zerglings. But if they let the game go on, my Ultralisks and Zerglings can do a lot of damage and hopefully turn the tide for my team. So, again, hit that like button, subscribe if you like what you saw. Visit me at facebook.com/FalconPaladin. And until next time, you take care of yourself.